you get to decide what each chapter of your life looks like, and you don't have to follow anybody else's rules.
Yeah. I love that so much, Michelle. And just ask yourself, maybe in the quiet of your, reflection time, am I living the life that I'm choosing to live, or am I living a life that others think that I should be living?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Life Happens with Barb and Michelle. We are so excited to be back chatting with you all this week about life's most interesting and meaningful topics. If you've been along with us this month, you'll know that our theme of our topics has been finding peace amongst the chaos, which is, pretty timely as we think. And so this week, we're going to be answering some of the questions that you sent in on this topic and more. And as you all probably know by now, you love a Q&A topic or a Q&A episode. So we've got good ones lined up for you today.
We do. Thank you.
Hey,
Hi,
Mom.
Michelle.
How's it going?
Good.
You're excited for this one.
I am. And we love it that you take the time to ask us questions. It means a lot to us. So thank you. We're excited to dive into your questions.
Yeah. So the first question that we got was from someone who said that, you're going to like this one.
I'm always you're
going to like all of them, but
I'm always a little bit like, okay, what's the first one going to be?
I know. I love in this instance, at least, that I feel like I have control over, you don't know what's going to come out first.
I have no idea. Yeah. Just so you all know, we get all the questions and I have no idea what she's going to lead with. She's the boss.
The puppeteer.
Yes.
So this person asked, I struggle with feeling my emotions. Is this related to being a people pleaser? What can I do to fix this? So I guess a three-pronged question. But when I saw that first piece, I'm like, this is a question for you for sure.
I guess first thing I want to say is you're not alone.
Yeah.
I don't think I've met a person. So I'm 68. I don't think I've met a person along the way, not only in my journey of doing this work and all of the things and trying to help, people find their center core and who they are. But I don't think even in business or anywhere have I found one person that is comfortable and really practices feeling their feelings or really understanding and feeling their emotions. So you're not alone. It was a long way to say you're not alone. You're in the same group that 99.9% of all humans are in. It's not easy. And I don't say that lightly. And it's not only is it not easy, we're not taught that. I know as a child, I've talked about this as a child, I was taught just be quiet and keep going. Just keep it to yourself. Or, okay, we all struggle. We all struggle. No, just keep on going. No one ever said we all struggle. So let's talk about how you're feeling right now, Barb. And that's what needs to be said if any parents are listening. Oh, I know I can feel you're struggling. Let's talk about what's causing you to struggle. We're not taught that. So it's not easy to feel your feelings. And in many, many cases, I had extreme difficulty. I spent the first half of my life thinking that I didn't need to feel how I felt. I just needed to push through. And that if I felt what I was feeling, I wouldn't survive. I mean, it was that severe. I feel like I thought my life would end. I didn't know that I could handle how I was feeling because I knew there was a little inkling inside of me that I was feeling something that was hard to feel. And I think you who wrote the question, and many of us, we kind of know that we're feeling something, but we don't want to know what the feeling is. So what I did was just, after having gone through treatment, what I did was just little by little by little, when I started to feeling a feeling, even if it was a major one, but a lot of times when it was a little one, I would stop and I would say, what are you feeling right now, Barb? And I would ask myself, and sometimes, oh, you're feeling irritated. Then I would go on and say, what are you feeling irritated about? And then I might be able to name it, maybe not. But then the most important thing I would ask myself is, where are you feeling this in your body? How is it presenting itself? Because I feel strongly that the body knows, there's a book, The Body Knows the Score. That might be a helpful book, for all of you to read. Or The Body Keeps the Score. And I actually think the body knows the score. The body knows first the feeling that we're having before the mind or before we actually can identify the emotion. So just be gentle with yourself and just take baby steps. And just when you're starting to feel something, if you could learn to just pause for a brief second and just say, what are you feeling right now? How are you feeling? Where are you feeling this in your body? And sometimes if it's really overwhelming, take a step back And even say to yourself, wow, I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed with this feeling. It's a little too much for me right now, but I'll get to it one day. Because sometimes we can't get the feelings right away, or we can't allow ourselves our feeling to overwhelm, especially if you've been traumatized, which I was, gone through a lot of trauma, a lot of sadness, a lot of suffering. So be gentle with yourself. And then the second part of the question, is it because you're people pleasing? I never identified those two together. I don't know how you felt, Michelle, but I never put those two together.
Well, I would say that if you are someone who feels disconnected from your emotions, it could be for a lot of different reasons. But like you mentioned, Mom, if you've had a history of trauma or struggle or suffering or difficulty, you might feel like you're not worthy, or you're not, it's not a valid use of your time to actually take the time to feel your feelings, or that if you do actually let yourself be connected with your emotions, you'll be criticized or punished, or any of those things. So I could see how maybe if you've had a lot of struggles and a lot of trauma, maybe growing up in your childhood or just in your own life personally, that maybe you would try to be a people pleaser and care more about other people than yourself. I could certainly
brilliant.
see that.
Michelle, that's brilliant. I certainly have felt that way. I just never put the word people pleaser to it. Yeah, that's really great.
But also, too, just a reminder that, human beings being a human is messy. Having emotions in a messy world is complicated, but it's all normal, or it's a natural human reaction to have feelings and to have emotions. Like, I think sometimes we wish we didn't have these emotions, but it's part of being human. And so rather than having judgment or criticism or thinking that there's something wrong with us for having specific emotions, it's like, can we seek to just cultivate an acceptance because it's part of who we are as human beings, and allowing what comes up to come up, and then letting it go when the feeling has been processed, and just not having such a strong hold on the judgment or the criticism of it.
And you don't have to share it with anyone. I think that's the cool thing about, I learned when I was starting to feel my emotions, I don't have to then go tell the world or go tell anyone what I was feeling. Really, it's between you and you. Just you naming the emotion for yourself is really 75% of it. It starts to dissipate the minute you're able to say, wow, I'm really sad right now because my best friend is dying, which I talked about in the last episode. Just saying that out loud alleviated a lot of the pain that I was feeling because I owned it for myself. So you don't have to share it with anyone. It's not like you have to go out and then tell other people or anyone.
Yeah.
It's just between you and you.
It's a personal experience.
Yeah, it's a personal experience.
Love it.
What was you said it was a
just how do I fix it? Which I think that
we went into that. Yeah.
So the next question is, I do so well at work and I'm super successful, and yet I still feel like an imposter and suffer from imposter syndrome. What do I do? Another good one for you, Mom.
Did you write these questions for me?
Did you write these questions yourself, Mom?
I maybe. No. Thank you, whoever wrote that one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I spent 30 years of my life feeling that way, and I was incredibly successful at work. And I used to say to myself often, if people only knew, if they only knew who I was, if they only understood how I was actually feeling. But I didn't even know how I was actually feeling. I just knew that I was an imposter. I knew that all the success.
You didn't deserve to be there.
I didn't deserve it.
You felt like you didn't deserve to be there.
I didn't think that I mattered. It all boiled down to I don't really matter. But what I do in the external world matters. So if I'm successful, if I have the external things that people think make you happy, all of that, I thought, that's good enough. But it's never good enough, obviously. Who we are from the inside out and the feelings that we have about ourselves matter most. So the way that I started, conquering basically and overcoming that feeling that I didn't matter and that I was an imposter and if people only knew, was I started working on the relationship with myself. I checked myself into treatment at 28 years old and really started that whole journey of how do I start to discover who I am, which, by the way, is not an easy question. So you're not alone about that. That's for sure. And it's the quintessential question, I believe. Who am I? And it's a journey that you will take for the rest of your life, but it's the most worthwhile journey that you will make. And it's very I want to say it's very intensive sometimes, and you can start to feel like I'm not making progress because if you're very successful at business, I know that I was not thinking that I could take something that would be a lifelong journey. I thought I had to get to the end, but it's really the destination truly is the path, it truly is the journey and the path, not the destination.
Yeah.
And you just little by little by little start chipping away at those feelings of I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, and really starting to own who you are. And that really is a practice. You can share some of your practices with that, Michelle, as well. But it's very common, I think, especially in the business world.
I think it's so important to just speak about the fact that so many of us who are, deemed as successful or viewed as someone who has made it or who has achieved a certain level of success, to have the open conversation about imposter syndrome, because we wouldn't know that it is such a common dynamic. And I think a lot of women suffer from this more intensely because we're, often told that we're not enough, or we have to achieve so many other things in order to be deemed worthy or, good enough. But, I think it's something that everyone suffers from in general. But I think that when I think about my own situation with feeling like I'm not worthy or I don't deserve where I am or what I've achieved or positions that I've held, I've often felt so comforted in knowing that I'm not alone in those feelings and that other people have felt them too, from, all walks of life, all backgrounds, all experiences. It's like another human emotion, to where if you're someone who has reached different levels in their careers or personal lives, something about the way the human brain works was going to make us think, oh, you don't deserve to be here, or you're not good enough for this relationship, or you don't really, this isn't really for you. This is all going to go away soon anyways. So, don't get too comfortable here. And for me, at least, like we've talked about in a lot of this month's episodes, but just in general, it's like having that conversation with yourself to talk back to that voice of that you're an imposter, that you're not enough, and really rebuilding that muscle within you of confidence and self-worth and self-love, for sure. But it's also a practice, because that is not easy.
No, none of this is easy. All of these questions, I'm so honored to be asked these questions. Aren't you, Michelle? It's so amazing.
Yes, they're very
you all are
powerful
extraordinary.
questions.
So know that off the bat. You're extraordinary. And coming from two people that have experienced the same thing that you're asking this question about. So you're getting it. What is that? Straight from the horse's mouth? You're getting our life experiences and stuff. So I want to say that you are worthy. You do matter. But I'll give you one little tip that helped me tremendously. Go buy a dry erase marker, because we all need reminders.
Yes, we do.
Go buy a dry erase marker, and on your bathroom mirror, write, I love myself completely. I am worthy. I deserve. How did I put this on my mirror? I deserve to live the life of my dreams. That's what I wrote. I'm sorry, I was trying to think. Because I wrote these three things.
You have a lot of things written on your mirror.
I know. Writing on my mirror is my thing. So that's right. I love myself completely. I am enough. That's what I said. I am enough. I am worthy. I deserve all that I have worked for. And you don't have to write all four of them at the same time. Sometimes I did. Sometimes I just wrote one. Like if I was feeling a certain way, I remember saying, I matter. I bet I had that on my mirror for months. I matter, because I didn't think that I did. We need the reminder. So the first place you look probably is you go in the bathroom and you look in the mirror, and just kind of pause for a moment and just take it in. I matter.
Yeah.
I am enough. I deserve. I love myself.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's a great tip.
Skip the stress and give your teen a way to learn financial responsibility with no hidden fees. Download Cashapp and get started today. For a limited time only, new Cashapp customers can use our exclusive code FAMILY10 to earn some additional cash. For real. Just download Cashapp, use our exclusive referral code FAMILY10 in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money, that's Cashapp.
Next question. How do I release and cope with the midlife fears and stress that I am feeling?
Wow. That's a big
I
one.
can relate to that one a lot.
So what's midlife today?
Well, that's a good question because I was talking to a friend recently and she was like, we're middle-aged. I was like, what? Rewind. But I guess it makes sense. But I don't know exactly what the definition of midlife is.
Well,
when she said that to me, that is what probably triggered for myself the fear and stress within myself.
Because I guess I don't think that I experienced the feeling of midlife until around 50.
Okay.
Or so. And when you say that you and your friends, because you're only going to be 40,
yeah,
it blows my mind, because I think a lot of, I'm asking that question because I think a lot of your age group thinks of that as being midlife, where I kind of feel like you start to go into midlife when you're in the position of, now this part of my life is wrapping up, which can be householder, working, or, motherhood, or everything. And so I think all of that is so much later today. So it's more in the later ages. And so when I think of my midlife around 50 to 60, really, and it wasn't until I really got hit with it till I turned 60, when I started thinking, what now? What does my life look like now? And certainly after going through my divorce, at 67 and all of that, it really sparked a lot of, okay, now I'm in a next chapter of my life. So I feel like I'm saying all this, that think about, instead of thinking about, ask yourself some questions. What is it about this time in my life that's making me feel like I'm in midlife? Like, what is inside of me? What's the voice inside of me saying that I need to start contemplating, that I need to start thinking about? What is the specific thing that you're thinking about that is causing you to feel like I'm in midlife? Now what? And then just really journal about it. I'm thinking about your journaling practice that you talk about. Journal about, what are my desires? What are the things in life that I love and want to do more of? What do I see myself doing? How do I feel about what I'm doing now? Just really doing a whole, you call it a brain dump sometimes, just let the flow of thoughts start going through your mind, and asking yourself these questions like, how am I feeling?
Yeah.
How am I feeling about my life right now? If I had a magic wand, how would I change it? And then the thing that got me, I think, was I had to go through a real, serious, maybe the right word. I know that you came to me and said, Mom, I went through a phase of feeling like, after this divorce. So after the divorce, I'm going to turn 68. I went through this phase of feeling like, oh my gosh, I've just kind of spent my whole life and now I have to start all over again. It was kind of a weird feeling that I had, especially for someone that feels like she's, moving through her emotions and all the things that we teach and all the experience that we have. It was weird. I thought, oh, I'm scared. And so it wasn't until I actually acknowledged I'm really scared. And I said it to Michelle, because she said, Mom, you're not kind of yourself. What's going on? What's going on with you? And I said, Michelle, I'm going to be 69 years old this year. I don't know what I don't know what I'm doing. I wasted so much time. Oh my gosh, I'm divorced twice. And she goes, Mom, what are you feeling? And I said, I'm scared. I don't know what's next. And I actually feel emotional right now, because I remember the conversation you and I had, and I really appreciated you asking me that. And once I said I was scared, then the thoughts and the feelings just started coming out. I was able to journal. I was able to write. I was able to sit down and quiet with myself and just ask myself, Barb, what are you scared of? You have a blank slate right now. What would you like to do with your life? And so I don't know where you are in your life, but I think feeling your feelings and having the emotion and being brave enough to say it out loud to yourself. And if you have one other trusted friend that you can trust, and completely being able to say it to that other person, and then just start journaling and really get creative and allow yourself to be open to dreaming the impossible dream, maybe, dreaming the impossible dream. And what did the one note you found from your dad after he passed away, on that paper that we framed?
The Disney quote?
The Disney quote. A dream
is a wish your heart makes.
A dream is a wish your heart makes. I feel like at, midlife time, that could be a good question to ask yourself. What are your dreams? what is deep in your heart, and going really full on within and asking yourself, what's in my heart and what do I deeply want to do? I know I asked myself this question, but I'm probably so much older than you are, whoever asked the question, but what do I want to do before my body exits this planet? What would I, if I were on my deathbed, what would be the one thing I wish that I had done?
Yeah, and I would say, as I've been grappling with this question for myself, firstly, remembering that the only constant in life is change, and that we're all constantly aging and getting older and moving into new chapters and starting new periods of our lives. And there's nothing we can do to stop that. So just remembering that this is a natural part of life, and not battling that, but accepting it. And also and this is what people have been telling me a lot lately, is like aging is truly a gift. It's a blessing to be getting older and to reach, later in life years. And that's not, promised to everyone. And so how can you look at your life and at the passage of time as a gift rather than a curse? And lastly, I would say, try to break down the rules that you feel like you have to live in of what it means to be whatever age that you are. As I'm exiting my 30s and entering my 40s, I've realized that I've had a lot of, internal subconscious rules of like what a 40-year-old looks like and acts like and what they're supposed to have achieved or have ticked off their to-do lists. And, why is that? And so you get to decide what each chapter of your life looks like, and you don't have to follow anybody else's rules.
Yeah. I love that so much, Michelle. And just ask yourself, maybe in the quiet of your, reflection time, am I living the life that I'm choosing to live, or am I living a life that others think that I should be living? Which is really similar to what you were saying. I love that.
Yeah. Next question is dives into something that we really dived into this month, but I love it. I want to feel happy and at peace, but I don't really know where to start. How do I get there?
Beautiful questions. Like, they're very deep.
Yeah.
I love you all so much. It is a privilege to have this platform. So happiness was something that was really elusive to me my whole life. As I said, I don't think I even contemplated that until I actually, got into my 30s and started thinking about, I think there's a possibility I could feel happiness. And the way that I started doing that was cultivating a relationship with myself, which was very hard because I didn't even understand what that meant. But I actually was reading all of the great teachers and the masters and all the mystics and all the world for generations and generations telling me how to start cultivating the relationship with myself. And I wasn't actually thinking that, I guess it's a twofold thing. I wasn't only seeking happiness. I was seeking, not only seeking that word happiness, I was actually seeking contentedness. I was seeking to be satisfied, like to be actually, I could actually take a deep breath and all is well in this moment and feel the peace that I think you just asked in that question. And all of that together meant to me that I had to really like being who I am. So I had to really know who I am. So the first step would be to start finding a practice, whether that be a little small meditation practice where you sit in quiet with yourself every day, just for a few minutes before you start the day. I always believe how you begin the day sets a tone for the whole day. And really just sit in quiet with yourself and cultivate that love of being in the quiet time with you, which I say all the time is not easy because we're not used to doing that. But just savoring the peace of that moment that you're wanting to have for your life. It's like you can actually start creating that one moment in time where, all is well in this one moment. I haven't left the house yet. No one's asking anything from me yet. Can I just kind of sit and be with myself for a few minutes? And little by little by little, the consistency of doing that every day, you start to get this sense of inner connection with yourself and inner feeling like I am enough. I do matter. I am content.
Yeah.
Because I think you can feel happiness from time to time in the external world, but you're really seeking to feel the happiness from within.
Yeah, I think starting within and connecting with yourself and establishing a strong foundation and connection with yourself is certainly, a great first place to start. And I also think too, when I've thought about happiness and peace or any goal or desire that we might look for as human beings, it's oftentimes like, how am I trying to say this? Like, so often we see emotions, and we see how people experience happiness or joy or success through their own lens. And sometimes I think we think that, happiness has to look like what it looks like for other people, or the manifestation of happiness is this, and this, and I haven't experienced that, so I guess I'm not truly happy. And what I've realized within myself is, I think probably most human beings have some sort of internal desire for happiness or contentedness or peace. But I think that what that looks like for each of us is probably very unique to us. What might be happiness for me might be totally different for you. And so, I think it's a worthwhile endeavor or a worthy use of time to try and just sit with yourself and examine or dive into, what do you think happiness really looks like and feels like for you? Whether it's, feeling like you're in control of your schedule to where you can have some quiet time alone, or creative time, or a career that, like whatever those things might be, getting in touch with your values. But starting to identify what happiness actually means, because oftentimes too, we think that I'm not happy because my life doesn't look like someone else who I've seen on TV or in the movies. That is the definition of happiness. But maybe when you strip away those external definitions, you might actually really be happy. You just think it's not like somebody else's. So
I love that.
I think just kind of redefining what it looks like for you and how you think it would feel, and then letting yourself feel like those tiny joys along the way. Not every moment of life is going to be happy or feel good, but it's, seeking out those small areas from day to day that can bring you a little bit of joy or relief when times are tough.
I love you said that, Michelle, because, don't forget that quote, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yep.
And I think you're right on with that oftentimes we're comparing ourselves with others, and they're happy. Why am I not happy? And look at all they have, or whatever it is we're saying to ourselves. And if we just take a moment and think about what it is that we're looking for. So maybe one little tip would be to get a piece of paper or journal and just write, what do I want?
Yeah.
What will make me happy, and actually write it down where you're in the quiet of your own space and not comparing yourself or looking what other people are saying is happiness.
Yeah. And the second piece was also brought up in this question. And I love how you've redefined peace to where it's not something that's passive, or where life is always easy, or where nothing ever bothers you, or where you have no stress or anxiety. If you want to.
Yeah, I define peace as strength, and strength, and where in your life do you feel like you have some sense of control? I think those are the two places. I'm most at peace, or ease, or calm. All those words go together: strength, ease, peace, calm. For me, I'm most at ease and feel the peace within me when I feel like I'm managing the things that I can manage. I'm controlling the things that I can control. I'm kind of the boss of my own life, and really understanding the 99% of the things that I can't control. Really knowing I cannot control any person, place, or thing in the outside world, but I have 100% control over how I'm going to respond to anything that happens in my life. So I really have a lot of confidence and resilience and feel good about myself when I've handled something really tough with strength.
Yeah.
And with a sense of, I did the best that I could, and I'm good with that. It was enough.
Yeah.
So I think starting there and re-identifying the word, that peace doesn't mean
passive.
Nothing is, it's not passive. It's actually, if you read any of the great teachers, I remember Mahatma Gandhi said, peace is one of the most active words you could use. It's not passive at all. So just redefining it, that people that talk about really understanding the word of peace and feeling it from the inside out. I know for me, it means I have a lot of strength. I have a lot of conviction. I know how to take an action. I know how to set boundaries. I take good care of myself. I'm very loving and kind to myself. That's my definition of it.
I love it. I love when you say peace is strength, because it's not passive, it is active. And it's, standing up for yourself if you need to stand up for yourself. It's setting a boundary. It's being kind and compassionate, but also confident and capable and clear. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, these were really great questions. And I
We're
feel
finished?
like those are
No.
all we have for today.
Oh my gosh, Michelle.
Yeah, you did good.
We all did. You all did good. Thank you for sharing your life with us.
Yeah,
It's
we're so
you're very
grateful.
vulnerable, and we love sharing our life experiences with all of you. So thank you. I love you.
Thank you all for sending in your questions. As always, please feel free to send in any questions that you have on social media or in the comments below, and we love answering them.
Yeah, this
Thanks, Mom.
podcast brings us great happiness.
Yeah. Hey friends, we are just a couple months away until my very first book, Dear Friend, is out. I am so excited for you all to read it, to have it around, to give it to your friends, to just take it all in, because I've spent so many years putting in everything that I've learned, my life experiences, things I've learned from my mom, and so much more into this book so that you feel like you have a dear friend by your side always. As you all have heard by now, pre-orders are super important, especially for a first-time author like myself. So it would really mean the world to me if you pre-ordered my book wherever you buy books. It would mean so much to me, and I'm so grateful. Thank you all for your support as always, and I can't wait to see you all reading Dear Friend.